ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Ladit Akera podcast, man. Today I got one of my favorite guys, man. Met this guy literally about 4 or 5 years ago. Genuine guy, just great person. Love the energy and everything. My man, Craig Johnson. What's going on, bro? Talk to me.
What's going on, my dog G Flav, my man. My man, bro. It's good to see you. Hey, you know what? You said like 4 or 5 years ago. That's crazy that it really hadn't even been that long. It just feel like that because that's just the connection that we got. Like we met
Yeah.
summer 18, summer of 18 that we
No, it was summer 19 actually. 18 or 19. I think it's 19.
But it might be 19. It might be
Yeah,
right.
because I think I graduated 19. I think it was summer 19.
Right.
Yeah.
It was 19. Yeah. Right, correct, bro. You got me right. So that's what I'm saying.
Damn.
Like that's just the connection that we got, bro. It's felt like it's been a longer time, but yeah,
no cap. It did. Yo, I'm thinking about. I'm like, hold on, who is it man? That long?
Yeah.
Nah, but we met in Latvia. We was having the tour playing ball. That was pretty dope though, bro. I was like, when I landed, right, I was like, hold on, there ain't no black people around here, bro. Then when I came to the hotel and I ended up seeing you and what's my man's name? Terrence. I was like, oh, why? Yeah, this, I felt a little comfortable, and I was like, okay, now let's get the ball rolling. Let's see what's happening.
Terrence, bro. We need to find Terrence, man.
Terrence is in Sweden.
For real?
Yeah, he's back in Sweden looking for clubs right now. So.
Oh man, yeah, you gonna have to send me his info, bro. Definitely need to go holler at Terrence, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, but I was telling my girlfriend about like us, like our connection the other day. Really, I peeped you on the bus. You probably ain't even noticed that, bro. I peeped you on the bus when we got to the airport. Like, you know how when we first landed in Latvia, we got a bus off the plane to get to like, the regular terminal. Yeah. But I seen you on the bus, like I seen you Northwestern, track bag.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, okay, I see this dude, but I didn't know he was gonna be going to the to the same campus as me. So it was really dope seeing you and actually getting to know you. And then it's like, yeah, one of the few dudes I actually still talk to this day. So
now, without a doubt, bro. I also see in your journey after that, you feel me? We always had our one-on-one, off air and stuff like that. So that was pretty dope, you feel me? And like you said, like from that trip is literally you and Terrence, you feel me, bro? It's literally like you and Terrence are the only guys that, I actually had still got that connection. Everybody was like, okay, we did a week and a half, and I'm about my business. And I came here for one reason. I ain't really came here to look to make friends. Nobody came to look friends, but guess what? With over time, you feel me? Just like imagine a week and then literally 3-4 years now, we still got that connection. You feel me?
I mean, we was over there for like about a month almost, for real. Like that time kind of, but it was really like two weeks of really being in the trenches. Like that first week kind of flew by because we all trying to get to know each other, trying to get to know our spot. But then once we started playing the games and really seeing what folks was made of, that's when. Yeah, like you said, some folks started to crumble. We started to see people's real character and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so, like, with the small few folks that stood out, like, it's still dope to have this connection like we got today, bro.
Definitely, man. Yeah. Good luck. What's been going on with you, man? Talk to me. What's been going on with all this crazy pandemic and stuff we got going on, man?
Well, just kind of, to get the viewers background on myself. I'm a 27-year-old from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I've been playing soccer since I was about 3 years old. At the age of 15, actually playing soccer. When I say soccer, saved my life, changed my life, like ball is life. I kind of, God put that in my spirit for real. I've always played sports, but soccer has always been my thing. But 15, one of my teammates knocked me over. From that injury at practice, like I continued practice, but I felt something was a little off. So went home that night. My mom was like, "Oh, you just getting back into shape, go soak in the tub, because I'm the youngest of 6 too, and all of us play sports. So she just used to that. So I went to go get in the tub, and I noticed a lump about the size of a tangerine in my abdomen. So you know that that area, that's sensitive area for a guy. You hear me? So it's just like panic set in. My mom was like, all right, don't get in the tub. We called my pediatrician, who was like a friend of the family. And he told me to ice it. So iced it that night. And also I've been dealing with irritable bowel syndrome, kind of sort of mildly, for about a year or so. And it'd just be like when I get excited, anxious, I would have like terrible stomach aches. And he kind of thought sometimes it would be a hernia. So that was also kind of in the back of our minds. So when it happened, he was like, I think it's the real hernia, the real deal. And it actually stayed down this time. So he was like, I'm gonna see you in the morning. So got to the doctor's office the next morning, and he confirmed it. He was like, yeah, it's a hernia, sports hernia. So we're gonna send you to the hospital, to get the general surgeon to examine you and everything. So get to the hospital, laying on the examining table, and I couldn't breathe. Like it was really hurting me to breathe. So they ran an ultrasound up my side because he's like, you're growing your testicles, like all that area doesn't have anything to do with your lungs, So that's why they ran the ultrasound up my side, and they saw a slight tear in my spleen, and they saw that it was swollen. So that I was rushed to pretty much rushed to the hospital, transferred to the hospital for a blood transfusion because they needed to see what was going on. And so they gave me the blood transfusion overnight, and my spleen actually looked like it was starting to heal itself. The swelling had kind of stopped, and the tear was kind of repairing. So my parents and the doctors was kind of talking about this good news while I was halfway in and out of sleep. Like early that morning. And so a nurse really just walking by hearing the conversation ran a blood culture. And from that blood culture test, that's where they saw the leukemia in my blood. And it was 27% ALL leukemia. And literally the next day, the next day they told me I had cancer. And the next day I was at St. Jude. That's where life changed forever. But it was everything happened so fast, but it was literally like a perfect storm, from soccer practice, being injured, to getting the hernia checked out, to seeing the torn spleen, to getting that random blood test, and then actually being able to go to St. Jude because Hurricane Gustav actually hit Baton Rouge that morning that I flew out to go to St. Jude. So if I wouldn't have caught that flight, who knows how long I would have been grounded in Baton Rouge.
Damn. You can just think about that. Like you was going through something, and like you was actually going through a storm, and that storm actually saves your life to take you somewhere else because something even harder was coming. Because if that would have came, only Lord know, like you say, where you have been. Could you have you got there to be saved? Could you have you got there to get what you needed to get? You feel me? So that's crazy, man.
Yeah,
but
blessing, man. Truly
it's definitely a blessing.
Like that actual hurricane even like messed up the house, like the house that I grew up in. It didn't caved our roof. So like, who knows if I probably would have been home. You know what I'm saying? Like during that whole debacle. Like if I wouldn't have been knocked down 2 days prior to that, I wouldn't even known I was sick. So that's just how everything just was working in my favor. And when people hear cancer, the first thing you think about is death.
That's what running people's mind right away.
Yeah, bro. So, but I've always had a positive perspective anyway with things. I mean, they ain't even like when they told me I didn't cry. I was playing the PlayStation Portable. I was playing NBA Live, like 07. Yeah, I think I had 07 at the time. And the ironic thing is I was playing a franchise mode with the Memphis Grizzlies. And so, I actually came to Memphis at St. Jude, and my mom called St. Jude the Disneyland for sick kids because when you go there, you don't get that death, that thought of death, that thought of negativity. It leaves your mind almost immediately as soon as you walk through the doors. I mean, the receptionists, the custodians, the cooks,
Mhm.
the nurses, the doctors, literally
Yeah.
everybody that works at St. Jude, they always have a smile on their face. They always have something uplifting to say. And even
Yeah.
the kids, like the kids never really seem too down unless they really sick, unless they're really like, it's something that's really, really going on. But for the most part, the kids are having a blast. Like I remember my first day, actually like kind of being out of the hospital and going to the Ronald McDonald house. One of my friends, he
Mhm.
lost his arm during treatment, but
Man.
one of his favorite things to do was climb on the monkey bars and just swing with the other arm. So it's just like
Wow.
you have that perspective every day and you see those examples every day, you don't have the opportunity to really get too down. So yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing, bro. But like you said, yes, like imagine that's just one arm and he enjoying life, like you said, because all of us heard about St. Jude, but to actually hear from experience from somebody that actually been there, that just it just puts you in a different light. Because we all hear about different hospitals and stuff like that. Yeah, we like to take care of our patient, but do you guys really take care of your patient? Because some people like push you in a room, doctors come whenever, they going back and forth and all the
Yeah.
stuff like that. But yeah, that's
No,
pretty dope, man. So fast forward,
not that place. Yeah,
talk to me
right,
about the
St.
time
Jude.
you got the Howard.
All right. Well, shucks. Speaking of St. Jude, speaking of one of those hospitals that goes above and beyond. So first of all, everything is free. So you don't have to pay for traveling. You don't pay for treatment. You don't pay for food. All that is
Mm-hmm.
free. Um, and also, my mom, she was an educator. My grandparents, educators. Two of my siblings, three of my siblings, educators. So it's just like it runs in the family. It's in the blood. And my mom was a real stickler about me being in school. So this is during high school. St. Jude has a schooling program. So did the homeschool at St. Jude through the assistance of St. Jude, and actually
Mm-hmm.
graduated high school a year early. So with that, my grades are great. I got high scores on my SAT and ACTs, and was accepted into any school, every school that I applied to. So Harvard, Baylor, Duke, Morehouse, FAM. Um, but I went to Howard, man. I took a visit there, and it was like St. Jude, like it changed my life. Like, and I
Yeah.
still had a year of chemotherapy pretty much to do. So I wanted to go to a place where one, a hospital was very close.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Two, where I felt like that love, because I come from a family that's just it's very loving, very affectionate. So I wanted to be a place where I felt like I could, get that same kind of environment. And
Yeah.
three, in the back of my mind, I wanted a place where I could maybe play soccer again. So
Yeah.
and fourth, to be honest, I wanted to go to a place that was very diverse in culture with a lot of black people.
Yeah.
So whether it was an HBCU or not, I wanted to make sure it was a lot of black folks. But
Facts.
obviously, you can't get no better than an HBCU. I
No,
went to
you can't.
Howard, and it really changed my life. It was all four. And shucks, Howard University Hospital worked out with St. Jude to where I could still get my chemotherapy once a
Mm-hmm.
week. So I did that my whole freshman year. Nobody really knew except for like five of my friends. I kind of kept it on the low because, it's kind of I don't want to say embarrassing, but it's something it's uncomfortable to talk about, especially when you don't necessarily understand the power of your story and your testimony like I do
Yeah.
now. So I was very shy at the beginning of that journey, and doing the chemotherapy every week. But to stay active, I hooped. I ran a lot. I hooped, and
Mm-hmm.
shucks. To fast forward a little bit, something kind of always played in my head, like, once you can get physically able, will you play soccer again? So
Yeah.
in school, in my brain, I'm like, I think I might be done with it. I was kind of gave myself the retirement title. But we had to take a physical education class to graduate. It was one of our prerequisites. And so you know how those classes fill up like that because everybody thinks it's an easy A.
Yeah.
So soccer was on the list, man. I just happened to register for soccer, bro. And from there, that's kind of where history took off again, man. I scored literally every day in class, every day,
Yeah.
at least one goal. And so the coach was like, well, the coach, he was a former coach, but he was just a teacher now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do you play soccer? Like, what's going on? I told him I used to play soccer, but I don't play anymore. He told me I should walk onto the Howard University soccer team. And I had basically a little brother who I got into Howard to play soccer. And then I had a great friend of mine who helped me get my little bro into Howard to play soccer. He was like, both of them told me to walk on a year before this, but I
Yeah.
ignored them. I was like, man, I'm done. I'm done, bro. Honestly, I still was kind of self conscious about the chemotherapy, making sure I was gonna get medically cleared by the NCAA and everything. And so it was a lot going on in my brain, but listening to coach, they actually was in the transition to Howard University soccer team and getting a new coach, Coach Jow, and he had open tryouts, and from there went out there, did my thing, made the team, and yeah, I grinded it out my senior year. I really enjoyed that year of it was just it was a learning experience and getting back into the real deal of like the waking up early in the morning,
Yeah.
going outside, all that good stuff. And it kind of got me into the mode of being a professional and really reinvigorated my dream of playing professional soccer. So
Yeah. That's dope, man. It's literally like your whole career, and then what you was going through. Like, say you wanted just to keep it to yourself, but there's something that you love was always trying to pull you back and like, hey, I know you shy, it's not the right time, but guess what? The love and that energy is still there. So it was just that's beautiful, man. That's just simple law of attraction. So I love that. So tell me, because we've been there together, but tell me, what was your own experience from first time being in Latvia and just like the culture and playing and all sort of stuff like that.
man, bro, like with that law of attraction, I was really I don't want to say nervous because I was really the journeyman. So after Howard, I played in the adult league in DC. Then I played in the adult league in Houston, and then I played in another adult league in DC. Played in one in Baton Rouge, then back in DC, and like I played in like two in DC. And
Yeah.
so from there, in the transition of me playing in Houston and in DC, that second stint, I went to a professional tryout in Charlotte.
Yeah.
So that was where I got the first, like, okay, I could do this. So I killed it. I killed it in Charlotte. And so then that's when I went to Houston and I met my roommate from Latvia, Diego.
Yeah.
Um, so did that in Houston, and that's when they invited me to Latvia. So I already had the mindset of like you said, this is a business trip. I'm not really here to make friends, but to be honest with you, when I got to the airport in New York, it hit me like, hey yo, you a black man. You go to Russia, my dog. You finna connect in Russia. I don't know a lick of Russian. Like I know a little German.
Yeah.
I know some Spanish, but I don't know nothing Russian. So I'm like, at that time, Russia and America wasn't really on the best of terms, especially.
Nah.
It was like, man, I'm black and I'm American. Like, who knows if I get lost, if I miss my connecting, like, what's gonna happen? So, just so many thoughts just started going across my mind, man. I just a rush of anxiety hit me, man.
Yeah.
My old lady, she sent me a prayer and it really calmed my spirit. So once I got once we landed, I was good, bro. And seeing you calmed me down a lot too, because I ain't the only black dude on the bus. Like I know
Yeah.
it's another brother in the country around here. So and then actually seeing you at the hotel, that made it all the better. I mean, shucks. After that first day, I scored the first day. I don't know what you was doing get day one when we went out there on the field and was doing them scrimmages or whatever. I scored. So once I got my first one, I'm like, all right, this home, man. You to be. I threw up right after I scored, but I scored though. So, like they had us running crazy them first couple of days, and I had
nah, for real, that was different. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Plus, I'm a Southern boy, so I'm country. But I'm Louisiana to be exact. So we cook, man. And
Yeah.
man, that food just it wasn't hitting on bro.
It wasn't hell here either,
Yeah,
man.
man. So that put into a lot of it too, but
Yeah, that was different. And them on them like what them special lunch places they was taking us to. The only time that I felt well was Subway. Even at Subway, I ain't feel well. I was like, man, look, I know Subway. And back in my mind, like you can't go wrong with pasta, but they went wrong with pasta.
Yeah, they went wrong with pasta. I didn't know you could do that.
I didn't know you can go wrong with pasta either. So I'm just like,
yeah, but the thing is, I did enjoy and I did appreciate it wasn't any preservatives in like they fast food. So like McDonald's didn't taste like McDonald's. It actually tastes like you got some real chicken over here, like, and it ain't the real chicken y'all tell us real chicken. Like, no, I could taste some real chicken. And the Subway, I really appreciate it. Like, if it wasn't for McDonald's and Subway, bro, I don't know if I would have survived that trip. Like, to be quite honest with you, I'm not sure, man, because
I was just
lifestyle not for me.
I was just such an eater that I was just like going after the fruits, bro. Like I'm not a big vegetable guy, but literally every morning or in the afternoon when we got some fruits or whatever, bro, I just be taking more of the fruits because you can never go wrong with that. And then when we had when like dinner was finished, because they was feeding us dinner early. You feel me? It's like at 6 we was having dinner. And I'm like, look, man, I know it's not gonna be open, so let me just take as much fruits as I can to my room. And then my roommate was pretty boring too. So I'm like, oh my God. So what I can do, that's when we actually started getting connected, when I was texting, I was like, yeah, let's just go downstairs and let's just go take a walk or go outside, like explore the city. And that's when we met Terrence and stuff. And then, so that was dope. So that was good. I was like, yo, I'm here for business, but then, y'all not treating me well with the food. So
yeah, bro, it's business, but you gotta eat.
You gotta eat. You gotta eat to perform the next day, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me what afterward when you came back home, how was that different to you?
Oh man, it was shucks. Honestly, I had to readjust for a little second because it was different over there. Like Latvia was totally different in the States. Like, what I'm saying? It's cleaner. Stuff moves like it seemed like it moved a little bit smoother. Seemed like it's a little peaceful. The air is cleaner. So just being back, and I can't, you went back to Baltimore, huh?
Yeah, I came back to Baltimore.
All right, yeah. So and I was back in DC at the time. So we right back in the city. So that was just like a totally different environment to go from like the major city to like, DC and Baltimore are major cities, but still like
exactly,
it's just a lot more hustle and bustle. And then, obviously readjusting to the food. Even though I think the first thing I did have when I got back was either Chick-fil-A or like some wings. Like it was one of the two, but yeah, bro, got back to the food. But just getting back into ball too, like I just feel like a professional. A lot of people showing me love just for taking that trip alone, but for me, I just felt like that was just step one.
Definitely, yeah. That trip definitely opened my eyes up for me, and it just like, excuse me, show me at a different level, like where we wanted to be at. They give us that opportunity, they give us that chances. To me, it was like the work that we were putting in here in the States versus the work that they was putting out there in Europe is like totally different. I'm like, yo, I literally have to step my game up. You feel me? It's like if you put in 2 a day, it has to be quality 2 a day. Feel me? It can't just be like, hey, yeah, I worked out today, so I'm mad proud of myself. But did you really work out today? So that trip opened my eyes and see how like the European was being played and how the coaches get that one-on-one. And they don't even evaluate you to your teammates standard. They evaluate you to the top notch. You feel me? They already like, yo, look, you were here, and this is how far is the Premier League. You were here, and this is how the best person in your position is. So if you're trying to get to the next level, we have to go step by step by step by step. And I love how they broke it down to us and was like, hey, this is your strong point, this is your weak point. So if you can just focus a little bit more on your strong point, then your whole game collectively will come together. Yeah. Yeah. So
man, the one thing I do like now that you talking about that, man, like that's the difference between our game over here and their game over there. Even with Latvia being a small country, like the system runs so much smoother, so much more efficient. I feel like, I mean, this is an American, I want to, problem in general is money rules it instead of necessarily talent. It was a lot of dudes over there. I ain't trying to shade nobody, but like you could tell who had it just from natural talent and like, needed some guidance, needed some structure. And then you could tell who really just paid the way, like they parents paid their way or they paid their way regardless. So it's the balance. I mean, like even with some of the teams we played, it was dudes that was like 30 years old, and then there's some dudes that's like 16, 15 on the same team, but you can tell that like it was a system. Like the 15-year-old is working to get to where the 30-year-old was at, and the 30-year-old he there to mentor, and also he got the skills to still do what he do. So it's like coming back over here was a little frustrating because like now I gotta find quality coaching, but then to find that, you gotta pay for that.
Exactly.
To pay for that, you gotta have a job. But if you got a full-time job, how you gonna work 9 to 5 and then have time to do balls? So it's really hard to focus, and it's like it's hard to make a true decision, man, and find that real structure, especially when you're not 18, 19, 20 years old. Like there ain't no schools like they got over here. So
yeah, exactly. Because even like in this system, how they have it in school is literally you go for the profession that you want. Like if you want to be a soccer player, you go to academy school. Like everything that you learn in here in high school and elementary, you're learning that, and at the same time, you playing ball. You feel me? It's like, okay, boom. Like a 10-year-old go to academy, say you go to La Mesa, like Barcelona Academy, you are literally being hosted there. They're taking care of you. You're studying for your books, and you're in a soccer academy. You feel me? After you get to a certain age, if you're good enough to play with the first team, boom, you're still in school. However, you are pro now. You feel me? And they still taking care. So the system, the European system and then the American system, they very and way much more different. Like you say, America focus at the end of the day is like, what can you make for us? Versus over there, we actually taking care of you because this is the profession. I always thought of myself like, yeah, why don't America with all the resources that they have just build school that are efficiently just for one thing. If you want to be a doctor, go to a doctor's school. Don't give me 4 years of school. I have to learn everything else that's not necessary. I'm not saying it's not necessary. It's good skills so you can learn something from it. But I want to be a doctor. You want to be an electrician. You want to be a scientist, whatever. Just focus on that. You want to be a football player? Go to a school where you're literally being taught how to play football from a young age and you're still studying your book. So that's why even with my time in Sweden, when I was talking to some of my teammates, they'd be like, yeah, we go to school, but I go to a football school. And then I meet somebody else. They're like, oh, I just go to a regular school. So it's like, it's very, very different. But yeah.
That's why it's inspiring much like I'm just years old and I've had this level of success essentially on my own. Like
is your mic on something? Because it's like keep on the mic is that's not the mic, the voice, it keep on echoing. Yeah, it's like echoing really bad.
What about now? It's better?
Yeah, now it's better. Yeah.
All right, bet. But man, it's just like me at 27, like I was saying, and but you 26, right?
Yeah, I'm 26. Yeah.
So we reached this level of success, to a certain extent on our own.
Yeah.
And we've been to Europe and played against, levels professional competition. There's no way we could sit here and honestly say like it's 26-year-olds and 27-year-olds that's better than us. Like it's some, obviously it's some, but at the same time, we have at least the set of skills that could get us on a professional level. And if we grew up in another country, that's where we'd be at for sure.
Yeah.
It's from our natural talent. So it's like, yeah, and I think that's the problem with the soccer system here. We have so many great natural athletes, but they don't get to stay in soccer because one, the money, and then two, our system isn't structured for that. So they go to other sports like basketball, like football, baseball, track.
Exactly. Like you said, like those sports that you just spoke about besides soccer, they literally all for everybody versus soccer, as we all know, is a rich people's sport. There's other sports that are rich, but soccer is literally like everybody wants to play it. Everybody. And like you say, like if you don't have the money for the academy, you definitely not gonna have the money to send your kid overseas somewhere where you 6-7 hours ahead. And that's why some parents be like, hey man, if I can't get you into this academy here in the States, then you're just gonna have to choose a different path. And that's like in a kid heart, it's like, but I don't want to do that. And the parent like, I'm sorry, I'm just not capable of. And that sometimes even, give parents anxiety, give parents headache, stress, like, hey, my son or my daughter want to do this, but I just can't find a way to do it. And it's like, hey, just go in high school and play. You feel me? You go in high school and play, but then if you don't get recruited or if you're not in the system of the academy where the coaches are actually like, hey, come check out one of my guys, come check out this girl I have, they nice, you can put them on your radar. So
that's the real thing. Like it's a real system. Like you talking about, like it's not some imaginary system. Like it's legit a system. And if you're not in that loop, you really kind of like out the mix. I feel like with other sports, you can be a 1-star recruit, 2-star recruit, go to a JUCO in football or basketball, put on for your JUCO, and then get a mid-major or a major college to recruit you. And once you got that, you straight because you done had the odds, you got the opportunity to go professional, even if you don't want to play in the States, you could do that overseas. With soccer, it's different because I played college ball D1.
Yeah.
After that, like after it was over with, my coach was cool, but it wasn't like he came to me with a list of opportunities for me to do X, Y, and Z. Like I said, I had to go find them adult leagues on my own. And then it ain't like the adult leagues got some scouts scouring around at any of them games either. So it's like I had to do my own research to find these professional soccer tryouts. And I mean, it was just like a walk on. That's how I looked at it. I'm walking on again like I did at Howard. And so, but even from that, it's like, okay, we put this amount of work in Latvia. We impressed, but it wasn't too many follow-ups after that without money attached to it.
Exactly, yeah. It's always like, yeah, you can do this, but I mean, exchange for exchange.
Yeah, if you pay us $2,000, we'll get you to this another camp. And it's like, okay, but I just shined at this camp. Like, what more you need to see?
And we're like, exactly, like, what more do you want? Like, exactly, and wasn't that the point of first of me, going out, showing you, showcasing in the state, and then you taking me overseas, and I'm impressing everybody. But then you feel me, like you really did not do your due diligence of like, hey, this is the person, or this guy, give him a shot or give him an opportunity. Even get him a month, let him be at least practice with your B team. You feel me? Make him work his way up. But it's like end of the day, structure system of day is different than here. Or like be like in the NBA, sign him to a day contract.
Or 10 days. Let that man work for a 10 days. Because me, you sign me to a 10-day, I'm gonna take somebody lunch. That's just my mentality. That's how it's always
Big
been.
facts,
And
yeah.
so, you know, and that's not even on the disrespectful, but it's just the journey that I had to overcome to get here. It's like now that I'm so close, I can't give up. So,
Nah,
you
you
know, I'm
can't.
still out here working. I'm still grinding to this day. I mean, when I came back from the States, so it was back to it. It's like one of my partners explained, he was like, man, you the player, you your manager, and you your trainer. Like you all
Yeah,
three in one, bro. So I know it's stressful, but that's what it was. So when I came back, I just got back to training, and I actually tore a muscle in my
mm.
groin. But it was like a fine tear, so they couldn't even. It wasn't a point in doing surgery. So I
So
had to do,
like hairy tail. Okay,
yeah.
gotcha,
So I
gotcha.
had to do 6 months, almost 7 months of just physical training and
Mm.
physical therapy. So that was 2019, and then summer of summer 2019, I got hired, and so I moved here to
Mm.
Memphis, Tennessee, working for St. Jude, and really giving back to the place that saved my life, man.
Yeah,
Um,
let's talk about that. Let's talk about actually you being in the system. You feel me? They helping you, getting you into Howard, and then you venture out a little bit, out in the professional world. Being an adult on your own, and then actually coming right back, like you said, to a place that saved your life. Like, how is that, bro? Because I know that got to be mind blowing.
oh man, pre-pandemic, actually going into the office, I used to walk through the hospital pretty much every day. So it was kind of surreal at times. I remember first arriving like 11, 10 years beforehand when I was a patient, like actually about to become a patient officially, telling my mom, I'm gonna be a part of this place for the rest of my life. And I didn't necessarily know that. I didn't know to what extent.
Yeah,
So fast forward now and actually be back here as an employee of ALSAC, which is the nonprofit sector of St. Jude Hospital. It's very surreal. Speaking at events, meeting patients now. Well, now that we are in these times, we aren't really interacting with patients, um, for the time being. But
yeah,
pre-pandemic, interacting with patients and telling my story and helping them see that, like, you know, what you're going through right now is just it's a momentary thing. Like St.
yeah.
Jude, the world for you and create miracles. I mean, because that's what it's done for me. Just beyond saving my life physically, I have a family here. I
Yeah.
still talk to some of my nurses. I still talk to my primary doctor. At least once a month, once every couple of months, and it's just like it's always a family feel. So that initial feeling that I felt when I first entered into the St. Jude family is still around. It's just in a different form. So now being in the is like I have motivation. They say if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
You never work a day in your life.
That's really how I feel. Like I love speaking to people and letting them know the mission that we do every day at St. Jude. No child should die in the dawn of life. And so that's what we work to do every day. And I'm just happy that I'm a product of that. And I just want to continue to uplift that mission and change that.
That's dope, man. That's amazing, bro. I appreciate you for doing that, man. Like sometimes in life where things that actually save us or give us so much joy. Some people like walk away, okay, they see me, they're hospital, that's what they're supposed to do. And I'm grateful, but I'm going somewhere else. But versus you, it's like, hey, like you said it you actually spoke it into existence when you was young, like, hey, I don't know, some way, somehow I'm gonna be part of this for the rest of my life. And what, 10, 15 years later on, and you right there. So
Yeah.
definitely, man. Before we head out, I like to ask you three different things, and you just rank them from 1 to 0, and tell me where you at this moment of your life right now. So first, I would say, like, how are you mentally from a scale 1 to 0? I mean, 1 to 10.
1 to 10. Mentally, like as in like stable.
Yeah, yeah.
Shucks, man. It varies from day to day. Well, overall, on average, I'd say about an 8 for sure.
Okay.
I'll do my best not to get no lower than a 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, definitely. So then, how are you with family and friends?
I'm great with family and friends, man.
Yeah, definitely.
These kind of conversations, these will give, because I consider you like extended family for real,
Yeah,
brother from another mother. I mean, the Louisiana connections, the DMV connections, like yeah, like I said, kindred spirits. So my family and friends, that's what keep me going.
definitely. I love it. Yeah, because there's certain times, the pandemic that we are living in, you might never know any given day. And then at the same time, everything that we see in the news every single day, being Black in America is terrifying. For me, you don't know. So that's why I'm just asking, like, family and friends are very important because you just don't know. You feel me? And then lastly, it's like, how you spiritually.
Spiritually, man, that's how I never go below that 5.
Yeah,
On that mental, man, you gotta stay connected to the source.
yeah,
So
definitely.
and you actually caught me in a good time too, man, because like I said, I was teetering, trying not to go below that 5, and actually
Yeah,
was feeling myself about to slip, and I had to readjust and get reconnected with the source, man. Like God is definitely that's family, friends. That's the source of family and friends. So if it wasn't for God in my life, I wouldn't be here. So
definitely.
I keep reminding myself of that every day through prayer, reading devotionals.
Damn, man, I love it, bro. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's all it is. That's how it's supposed to be at all times, man. And when we get down, like, that's very dope that you said, is that spiritual that doesn't let you get under a 5. So as long as you got that connection, no one can take that away from you. And if like, when all things break down and there's nothing that you can do, you can always get into your literally own circle, own whatever, and just read the small scripture, or just to read the small word, and then boom, just lift you up out of nowhere, man.
Yeah,
So that's definitely dope. But my guy, I appreciate you doing this with me, man. I
for
know you got a
sure.
busy schedule and stuff like that, but I appreciate you squeezing me in. And
Of course,
free
man.
game, free plug. Let the people know where they can find you, man.
Man, you can find me on Instagram, D Craig Johnson. That's pretty much the most active social that I'm on. And yeah, it's all love. I got a link in my bio, just kind of speaking a little bit to my story. So please
Yeah,
go check that out. And yeah, it's all love, man. Just support Black people, support Black colleges,
yeah,
and support St. Jude.
definitely, man. Appreciate it. We gotta link up this summer, my brother. Definitely
Hey,
have to
just
link
let me
up,
know,
man.
bro. You got a spot in Memphis, man. Just let me know.
Love it. Appreciate it. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Take
For
care of
sure.
yourself, bro.
All love, bro.
All love, man.